Saludos a todos, este es LTL Podcast, un podcast en Spanglish acerca de la música tropical y mucho más desde una perspectiva de músicos, ingenieros, compositores, productores, etcétera. Este es Jeremy Bosch, ando con Marcos López, Marcos Torres, alias Kilo, Javier Raez y...
Special guest.
No es ni siquiera un special guest, él es de la casa, de la familia, bajista, productor, de todo y próximo papá father to be. Danny Torres. Yes, they are family.
Yeah.
So, estamos aquí.
That's dangerous.
More Torres.
That's cool.
Ya tú
You
sabes.
said dangerous and cool. Those feel different.
No,
Sometimes they're the same.
Think about it. Think about it. Think about everything you guys have done together as brothers. Now a little person's gonna come and combine that.
As a mega Torres.
Estos son como los sopranos.
The mega
It's a blessing, yeah.
The mega Torres.
Yeah. Hopefully he enjoys music.
Yeah. That's been one of my things I've been trying to like plan out now, like figuring out what music I want to introduce him to first.
Are you playing music to him now, like from
Yes.
outside? Okay.
Yeah, bro.
Classical music and jazz.
Good.
Yeah.
So
Good.
cute,
That's-
dude.
Baby Mozarts. They have
How's that?
a Mark Anthony baby album.
Oh my God.
They do.
Well, see that. I know those things are all available, and so I'm trying to avoid it. Trying to go from like. This is the one thing I've studied myself, so I feel like I could guide him along without baby Mark Anthony.
You don't want the kids pop versions.
Yeah.
No, you don't want to like kid singing "Vivir mi vida" for the rest of his life.
No, but there's no words. It's like a lullaby of Mark Anthony's music.
Like that.
Yeah, it's baby music, like lullabies of Mark Anthony's music.
I'm hating this all even more.
We should
Like,
make a
the
Jeremy
more
Bosch
interesting.
lullaby version.
I didn't like it to begin with.
Acerca to baby's bop.
We should have-
Acércate.
We should have Felipe play it all on vibes,
Yeah.
so it sounds
no.
more attractive.
Okay, I hate you guys. Here we go. Feel my
This
hatred.
is how we start the podcast. No, you should make a playlist. Like make him a playlist. I was thinking about that.
Yeah,
like
he's-
making a
I
baby,
gotta
like, and then
start
it grows.
it.
It grows with him, right?
Some Stevie.
Yeah, bro.
¿Tú quieres que él sea músico?
Ooh, good question.
It's too early, bro.
That's
No,
too
it's not.
personal.
I want him to know music and have a love for performing and dancing and singing music.
Dancing.
His
That's
career, that's on him.
Tú lo que quieres es que él haga billete.
If he wants to be a doctor, go ahead, bro.
Yeah, please.
Future
Yeah.
Gael, when you hear this, we love you.
If you're watching
Ain't
this.
nobody,
Do
even
what?
a nurse here. I mean, kids come from, there's got to be like a parent's going to love something.
Yeah, that's true.
If you want your kid to be a doctor, you better love doctor shows at least.
He's been watching Grace Anatomy like every Thursday.
Watch House in between.
Yeah.
Mm.
That's how he's gonna become a doctor watching TV.
That makes my point. We have no idea how to make doctors.
Exactly. Or be dads.
Or no, we know how to make musicians, but
I know how to bake.
all right, this is going real left field.
What's the most exciting thing that you think is going through your mind about being a dad?
Ooh. That I have a chance to influence him from his youngest age, from the start, into a person I'm gonna see for the rest of my life, and I'm gonna get to see him grow and be his own person.
Yeah.
And I guess this is the whole dad love is like doesn't matter what, like I don't even know who he is, but like I can already like imagine what he'll be, and how proud I am of him already.
That's crazy, bro.
Are you gonna sing Nació mi niño,
No.
nuestro niño?
But
You should.
we recorded a song.
Maybe you should do one cover.
We recorded.
Oh, that's true.
That's
You're
what I'm
on.
saying. We recorded that song prior to me knowing
That you were gonna.
I was gonna be a dad,
Dude.
and then after I found out and I heard it again,
It took
I was
another
crying.
whole new meaning.
I cried. Yeah,
Right,
I
oh,
cried.
I bet.
It was something else.
Y eso
It
que
felt
yo no
different.
tengo nene, ¿para qué
Okay.
tú
No, but
Yeah.
it's a feeling that we understand,
Yeah,
even if we're not parents.
absolutely, man.
We see it in our parents.
Yeah.
At least the lucky ones that have like.
Yeah, bro. That's awesome. I don't mean to get too much out of context, but I think the generation that we live in is suffering so much from a root of fatherlessness.
Yeah.
That when you see a male figure that says, I want a kid and I want to be a father, that's a very rare thing. Most friends that I have, grew up in single homes or single moms. So, right, so
Doesn't want to be a father.
fathers
I'm
are
not
very
for it.
important things,
I don't want to
man.
be a father either.
Right? I do, bro.
It's a beautiful thing.
I want children. That's important.
I'm a selfish one.
No, I
Nah,
just-
bro. You're not selfish, bro. You're very
For
generous,
certain
bro.
things, I was like.
I think every society needs a certain amount of people who
Right.
put themselves up to that job, and other people who put themselves to other things, and
Yeah.
we don't need more people. So it's nice that the kids that are being born are growing into families that
Yeah.
want them. I think that's it, right? It has
Right.
to be kids being born into families that are ready and
Right.
want them.
Mhm.
That's it.
Yeah, I once read from una vez yo vi de un escritor que dijo that moms give value, but this is like child psychology 101. But moms provide value, but dads provide identity, which is kind of crazy, right? And that's why, for example, as a man, for example, if my mom like compliments me on how I look or how I sound or whatever is special, but for some reason it is special, but it's very different from just one approval from my father. Like, yo, you did a good job. That will last for me for the rest of my life. I don't know why, but just to be approved by that. So there is definitely a very strong
You grew
thing.
up closer to him?
No. It's just the dynamic of what a masculine figure that is older than you when they
You don't
approve
think
of
you're
you.
just more excited because one is an open faucet whenever you need it, and the other one is more like a leaky drip.
Right.
So the leaky drip is a
Yeah.
little bit more worth.
It could be. I think also
Leaky
that
drip mean the father because
he doesn't get
Fathers
to. Yeah.
usually tend to give a little less
Claro, yeah.
positive feedback.
Sí.
So since they kind of like what's the word I'm looking for? Ration it out a little bit more. It kind of we end up wanting it more
Yeah.
because moms are going to be there every day to tell us how amazing we are.
It depends. It depends on the family because there's some moms that don't show up.
No,
and then,
no,
and
I
then
agree
only
with that.
fathers compliment them. But I think it also has to do with the whole masculinity, femininity thing. Because that same psychologist said, masculinity sometimes has to be bestowed upon by masculinity. Like a woman, is a special being, but she, like, for example, for me, single moms are like superheroes because they're carrying throughout their whole life a double job and double personalities that they have, they have to raise a person that they are not. If you're a woman, you're raising a man. It's a very.
We're gonna hit an
difficult thing.
intersection of ideas that we're gonna bump heads into a little bit, but that's fine. We always know how to.
Right.
But I think what we're talking about doesn't necessarily have to be a masculine and feminine thing. It's more of there's courage, which leads to good decisions, and then there's cowardice, which leads to bad decisions. And I think masculinity is sometimes associated with courageousness, as it usually is talked about as in a verb,
Right.
meaning like being courageous is a verb because you did this in a courageous way. But I think that's what we deem as masculine sometimes, courageous acts. But I think women maybe don't give us that big courageous act that men do, but they're consistently a little bit more courageous, I find, than men. It's not those big moments, right? You're not saving someone from a burning house. Women don't tend to save people from burning houses as often as men do, but on the daily, the tough decisions, at least you know what it is. It's also in my life, right?
Right.
It's also what I've seen in a lot of my friends' lives. It's not we tend to like. If a man does a good thing, we're like, oh, wow, look at this guy.
Yeah.
Look, clap it up for this guy. But, I mean, if you count all the days of your life, if I'm thinking back on my childhood, there's a million positive, courageous things that women did every day.
Yeah.
And, Jesus, if one of the male figures in my life did one thing right, then people were, clapping it up for years.
Yeah, absolutely. And women, obviously, there's different types of courages. That's a great point. That courage has many, many ways. And you bring your strength, you bring the type of courage that you have. For example, if my courage involves more like brute force, like saving children from a burning building, that's courage. But if my courage involves being a woman that works 2 jobs and provides for 2 kids and etc., then that's also extremely courageous. And obviously women should get huge credit for that.
Also, oftentimes the women that are already in those situations give more.
Right.
It's kind of like we say, if you want something done, give it to a busy person. It's like
Right.
if you want someone to love you, give it to someone who,
Right.
ask it from someone who's already giving
Right.
a lot of love. Women are just in that
Yeah.
position of love more often, and that's
Yeah.
really the position of strength.
Yeah.
Men often, I think men are kind of too burdened by their pride and ego sometimes to be courageous and to be loving. But I think I really don't want to have this conversation. But
No, but going back to Danny, for example, I feel that I do agree, no matter if you're a woman or a man, the fact that you want a kid, that kid is going to grow up as a human being that feels wanted.
Loved. Yeah.
And when you feel wanted by somebody, bro, it's a very different dynamic than growing up with a subconscious mind that says, well, perhaps I'm not meant to be here. Perhaps they didn't want me. Perhaps I was born by accident. Perhaps it's a different dynamic. But when it's a very special thing to, and even
It is a weird.
even if you're fatherless or motherless, and there's a coach or there's a father figure like LeBron's story. Don't look at the game right now, guys. Just resist the temptation.
Well, they're close now.
Yeah, so LeBron, he's looking at this game. Like LeBron's story is like that. He comes from a single mom family, but he definitely gives a lot of credit to a male figure that jumped into his life as a coach and kind of believed in him. And there's a young man definitely is shaped in a positive way when he feels wanted. And you're going to provide that for your kid, man. We hope the best for you, bro.
Yeah.
We hope
You
that.
got this. You're gonna kick ass,
you'll be
bro.
fine.
Yeah, bro.
And he has some
Exciting.
incredible uncles too that are gonna
Oh, yeah.
Facts.
Yeah.
Take a look at these guys.
buy that kid some Jordans. No, I'm kidding. I'm hoping him like a saying.
So yeah, I mean, hoy vamos a estar hablando, de nuevo, estamos haciendo todo en inglés, man. Hoy vamos a
Good
estar,
job. Y'all gotta speak Spanish.
hoy vamos a estar hablando de... Hey, ¿te gusta el contenido que estás viendo? ¿Te gustaría mantenerte al día con todo lo que está pasando? Pues te invito a que te suscribas a mi canal. Simplemente oprime la campanita para recibir notificaciones cada vez que publiquemos nuevo contenido. Ahora, de vuelta a la conversación. Como aquí todos somos músicos, ingenieros, todos estamos en tarima, pasamos la vida en tarima. ¿Cuál es el mejor momento en tarima? El momento más chévere, más energético, más espectacular, espiritual, lo que tú quieras, la categoría que tú quieras. Pero el mejor momento que tú piensas ahora mismo, off the top of your head, que te ha pasado en tarima, mientras has estado performing. Javi, you have a moment in your life that you...
As an engineer, yeah.
Yeah, on stage, like something
Not
that you remember.
outside of stage.
Outside, well, either working in a performance.
Yeah, with
Go ahead.
with Edmar Castañeda en Bogotá.
Español.
En Bogotá. Es su hometown. So, la responsabilidad era como que full. Yo sentía la responsabilidad como mi parte. Y era un teatro increíble, un teatro bien bonito, de música clásica. Y yo veía a la gente entrar y dije, man, wow, like, sold out show. And I was like, damn. Yo estaba con los nervios. Nunca he sentido tantos nervios en mi vida como que, por ejemplo, 2 veces en mi vida me ha pasado esto de tener nervios. Eddie Palmieri en Perú y Edmar en Colombia. Yeah. Pero sentí más responsabilidad en Colombia porque el tipo está en su hometown.
No puede quedar mal.
They know what he sounds like too.
Exacto. Y saben cómo suena esa arpa y suena. Entonces, él hace un tema que se llama él hace un tema que se llama Jesucristo de Nazaret.
Jesús de Nazaret.
Jesús
Yeah,
de Nazaret.
I love that song.
Y él hace este tema y yo a la misma vez siempre hago como que volteo y le digo al tipo de las luces el escenario cómo tiene que ser. Y está en el medio del solo y tú escuchas a la gente llorar. Wow. Y yo escuchaba eso y después viene Gregor Mare en la armónica y eso nunca lo había visto yo y yo he hecho bastante show con ellos y Gregor viene de atrás con la armónica y le mete un sonido ahí y comienza a hacer un connection con Edmar y la gente más y yo estaba parado en la consola y yo no me aguantaba, yo estaba llorando.
That's
yo
amazing,
dije, bro, what is going, y la gente, pero y terminó ese song, las luces prendieron, todo el mundo se para, yo ya estoy parado, y yo no podía parar de llorar, yo no sabía qué hacer, la gente me miraba a mí como que, you know, and I'm like, damn.
Hay un feedback o algo
así.
Yeah,
I'm like, I'm a thug. You know, pero, y la gente, y para mí ese fue el momento, para mí, más especial. Y después, obviamente, con Eddie Palmieri en Perú, primera vez yo haciendo front of house para Eddie Palmieri en mi hometown.
¿Cuánta gente había?
Por lo menos 50,000
personas. Era un coliseo en estadio.
No, al aire libre.
Sí.
Eddie Palmieri.
Era el ¿dónde era?
El Jockey. En el Jockey.
Bro, eso no
y yo estoy ahí y la gente, para mí era en dos maneras súper raro porque yo estaba con los nervios, pero yo ya estaba con la idea de que todo está bien porque hicimos soundcheck. Obviamente tú haces un soundcheck para un festival, cuando vas a armar de nuevo hay cosas que siempre pasan, pero gracias a Dios todo está bien.
Brutal.
Y entra Eddie y escucha and I'm like pero es como que ese es el tema, obviamente, que la gente
vámonos para el monte.
Que la gente y a mí ya sí lo mismo pasó en el estudio con vámonos para el monte, and I was like damn, y la gente chévere, pero después ya llega un momento de que no sé, la energía del pool, y también donde estaba parado yo también a la distancia, como que yo no podía ver la gente que estaba adelante, que supuestamente estaba con toda esta energía, pero donde yo estaba como que la gente quería ver the next band. Pero para mí, y la gente, yo quería como que gritar desde el sound, yo soy peruano, y no, pero no, es como que
shout out to front of house.
That was cool.
Yo me acuerdo de esa canción Jesús de Nazaret en el Heineken Jazz Festival con el trío de Edmar, con Marshall Jukes, y también me acuerdo un montón de gente llorando. Es que ese tema tiene algo, y también es la expresividad de Edmar, como lo hace. Bueno, un tema también espiritual.
Para mí cuando yo le hago el front of house, yo veo que aunque sea ponen al tipo de las luces a mi costado, especialmente en ese tema, siempre les digo, mira, let's go with this vibe. Y le digo, maybe put it like just a spotlight, make everything else dark. Y Edmar le comenzó a gustar eso, que cuando le enviaban fotos, me dice, yo, like, that's cool. Y yo como que siempre, yo le digo, este es el tema que yo te voy a decir que yo quiero esto.
Right.
A lo de las luces. So, tengo esa conexión con las luces
That's
ahora.
dope.
Are you like a stage manager / tour manager?
No, not even.
No?
I'm just his front of house.
Front of house?
Yes,
Wow.
front of house. Pero yo quiero que esté todo conectado, ¿me entiendes? Como que quiero también ser ese tipo de que entiendo la música, y quiero que también, por ejemplo, los de las luces a veces no saben qué show están haciendo. So, a veces tuve los tipos como que tirándole lucecitas de diferentes colores para que vaya con el vibe de la música, pero yo les digo, mira, este tema es especial.
Brutal.
Este es el solo. Yo quiero que por lo menos en el principio un spotlight, y en la parte de atrás maybe purple lights, maybe wash it out a little bit, pero a la mitad del tema que vaya como que uplifting. Y yo estoy así conectado con el tipo y mirando el show a la vez, making sure that everything is cool.
Claro.
Qué chévere, brother. Oh, thanks for sharing that, bro. That's an awesome experience, man. Yeah. Dan, you got anything?
Yeah, I have maybe 2 or 3 little instances. The first one that came to mind was, I think, my first semester at Berkeley. And I think Lemois asked me to do Wallies. And I was maybe 18 years old. I was not ready. I was not ready at all.
What year do you go into Berkeley?
09?
09? Okay.
09.
Good
Yeah.
year.
It's like the winter of 09, I think it was.
Alright.
Going into 2010.
So I was playing then.
I think so, yeah. I was not ready at all. I did not know what I was going into, and I had just started at Berkeley, and beginning of the gig to the end of the gig, there was a roller coaster of emotions where I felt like I don't belong here. I'm in the wrong school. I can't do this. To then a couple songs in, we're like, no, I could do this. I can hang with these guys. But yeah, it was just a shock of like, wow, this is a lot more than I've ever experienced before.
You've been in that situation a lot.
So yeah,
like thrown into situations.
Yeah, the Lions.
I think
That's the way to the best way.
A year prior to that, you guys got me for a gig to come up to Boston, where I was like still in high school at the time. I was probably like 17.
Con Jerry Rivera.
Was that no? It was something else with Eggy.
Oh.
We were doing a gig with Eggy.
Oh yeah, you did a couple gigs with Eggy before you were in school.
Yeah, and it was like, oh, you're gonna come up here.
Oh, there's video of that first one that we.
Yeah.
It was the Boston Jazz Festival.
It was like you're gonna read.
Yeah.
You can see
morning
us.
downtown. Yeah.
And then
Nathaniel
do the gig at
Sampieri.
night.
Yeah. Oh, you did Wally's
just-
that night.
Yeah, prior to me, that was prior to me even going into Berkeley. That was a year before I got into Berkeley. And yeah, just the expectation that, okay, 17-year-old's going to come in here and know that we could just do this all tonight. And it was a lot. It was a lot.
That's crazy, bro.
But both those instances also, like, proved to me, like, you can do it. You can do it. Like, focus.
That's an awesome feeling, bro.
Get your head straight, get all the nerves out, look. You could do it. So that was it.
How do you talk yourself out of that? That's crazy. Like for me, I don't know. Like doing Newport Jazz Festival with Edmar's World Ensemble was like 9 a.m. sound check. We had a show at 11 o'clock. We were not even done with sound check, and there was already like 2,000 people inside the tent while we were doing sound check. And then I was not done, and it was an analog board, not even a digital. I couldn't even reach the board. I couldn't reach the game button, bro. I had to get a little stand for me to like. I was that short, and
King of doing gigs you're not prepared for is me though. Nobody beats me in that category.
Why?
I was just showing up to gigs and people thinking like, oh, I checked out the music or whatever, just wing it.
Well, that's on you.
Everybody's like, oh my god, amazing. Cool, bro. Yeah. Sorry, I shouldn't have said that, but everybody knows that. I don't prepare for gigs.
Kilo doesn't prepare for gigs. ¿Algún momento que tú tengas?
Diablo, mano. Hay un montón.
It's a feeling.
It's a feeling.
Like a memory, like, oh, man.
Hay uno que siempre, como que siempre se me ha quedado. Tenía 15 años y me invitaron a hacer un tributo a Tito Puente en Lincoln Center. Todo lo que yo sabía era que Cuco Peña estaba dirigiendo la banda.
DH.
I'm shitting my pants. I'm 15. I showed up, llego al ensayo, me viajo a Nueva York y yo vine con mi mamá, como que todo una experiencia.
That's crazy.
Like 2003 was a wild year in
Yeah.
my life. Pero llego y está
You were like 13?
15.
That was a crazy year.
That
Llego,
was a crazy year while I was 15.
está Giovanni en la conga, Dandy en el bongo, Cartaya está en el bajo, Arturo Ortiz está en el piano. It's like Bobby Porcelli, Mario Rivera. It's like part of Tito's band, reforzada con gente de Puerto Rico, Toñito Vázquez.
Wow.
And I find myself playing el rey del timbal con Sheila E.
Damn.
Luis Enrique, Giovanni.
Okay.
Roberto Roena is playing bongo. Dandy cogió la conga.
Damn.
It was like, and I'm asking myself, like, how did I end up here? I'm just a kid. And I remember, me acuerdo que como se me pararon los pelos, la cagadera que tenía encima. Eso es como que nunca se me olvida. Eso es como que el top feeling. And sometimes I find myself trying to feel, even today, that feeling.
Right. You chase it.
Yeah.
That's dangerous.
You chase it, yeah.
Yeah,
Like a
that's-
drug.
that's never
Yeah,
gonna-
exactly.
never gonna
Yeah.
work.
And it's never gonna repeat itself.
Right.
Like, the second one was, like, I was crying
Yeah.
playing with Isaac.
Oh, I shed a tear too. Yeah,
Tocando con Isaac en Berkeley. It wasn't even like a gig que era en Berkeley.
Yeah,
we never thought we were gonna get to play with
Yo
him.
nunca en mi vida imaginé que iba a tocar con mi
Those
cantante
videos,
favorito.
because of those videos, I got to know. Like I remember when he came to Conga Head for the first time.
Oh, yeah.
I'm like, I know you. You're from that Isaac video at Berkeley. That's how serious. That's
Those
how
are
I knew
great.
Lopez.
Y he tenido momentos así. Es que son
Yeah.
muchos y como que, even with playing with you guys,
Yeah.
hay momentos que I'm like, shit, I prefer to do this than hacer un guiso
Anything
que...
else, yeah.
The
Que-
Dizzy
que-
show.
The Dizzy Show.
The Dizzy show. It
No.
felt like we
Very
all knew there was gonna be a moment. Like, let's all
Yeah.
like take this in, and everyone was real present that day.
Mexico.
It was great.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Mexico too.
Mexico was
Remember
nice.
when we
In
played
Mexico, we were scared shitless until right before we went on too.
Started crying on the
It was
dressing
almost
room.
like it wasn't until sound check was done that we
Yeah,
thought,
like-
okay, this will work.
Yeah.
Also, we had never done a show like that too. Just
Con
like us
Everton, la
three.
computadora,
Yeah.
I was
It
so
was the four
stressed,
of us.
dude.
Yeah.
You were running.
Everybody was so stressed. I was running Everton, right?
Ableton
Yeah.
playing drums and timbal and singing.
And singing
coro.
coro, yeah.
That's crazy, dude.
So hay un montón, ¿no? Es como que...
Graduation day.
We need to do that again.
Yes.
I need that rush.
That's fun, yeah.
Adrenaline.
There's definitely satisfaction in not knowing yourself if you're worthy of accomplishing something and then actually accomplishing it.
Mhm.
There's such a thrill in there.
Well,
It's like winning a championship, bro. Like
I don't
know
take
if
it for
I mean,
granted.
I feel like that's kind of what I was getting. I said it in a really nonchalant way, but like I really dig the whole always stay prepared for a situation and never prepare for a situation. Always stay prepared to like keep your reading up, keep your playing always. Playing. You're like your practice has to be your religion. And fuck the gig. It's stay like at 100% all the time.
Es como él lo dijo, like finessing it, right? Mi primer gig con Edmar, es lo más extraño. Yo llego a hacer el front of house de Edmar porque él vino a grabar a Conga Head. Él quiso estar en el mixing, que yo nunca dejo a la gente, a los músicos que estén en el mixing conmigo.
Mentira.
No.
Muy bien,
No, wait, hold on. Y entonces era una conexión de que él me dijo, man, increíble. Y me dice, tú estás disponible, tú haces live sound. Y yo en realidad no hacía live sound. O si hacía live sound era algo very basic.
Empolladas.
Oh, yeah. Maybe, or Peruvian nightclub.
Claro.
Y entonces me dice, ¿tú haces live? Y yo le digo, yeah, porque yo no me gusta decir no a ningún, any job. Me dice, tengo un show en Francia, en Toulouse. Nice. ¿Quieres venir conmigo? Y yo le dije, heck yeah. Mi primer show en Francia, Toulouse, ni idea de lo que me esperaba. Me enviaron la información de qué consola iba a haber, que estaba ahí, todo. Pero no hice mi tarea. I was just like, I'm gonna wing it. Yo dije, and I was like, whatever.
Oh,
Pero on my way there, I just observed. I was like, all right. Y bueno, siempre se sabía que supuestamente en los festivales siempre había un ingeniero que te puede ayudar y whatever. Si no entiendes algo.
Sí, pero ellos, they're assholes.
Yeah, big time. No, pero
especially
pero esa vez
engineers are the worst.
Y yo me acuerdo de que obviamente no estaba preparado y yo no estaba yo no me sentía capable of doing that gig. Pero Edmar estaba con la mentalidad de que si yo le mezclé esto de Conga Head, I was ready to do anything for him.
Right.
Bro, I don't know how I did it.
But don't you think that
the
that's
first
like
hit,
the ears, it's
just
the sound
ears,
you're looking for?
The first hit, y la gente gritando, eso era como que,
Oh, the pressure's off.
Bro, it was crazy.
Yeah.
That was like, I can never repeat that feeling.
Mm-hmm.
Ese fue mi primer como que, yes.
I can't do this.
You know?
Yeah, absolutely. You got any one moment on stage that you can think of that you were like
searching? So like there's one moment, right? There's like a moment that I can say like, oh, this was nice, an accomplishment. But like, I feel like the thing that keeps coming to mind is the thing that I've been focusing on over the last couple of years, which is like searching for the moment in every performance. And that's where this topic is so like on the head of something I've been really trying to capture, and it's like buying into every moment. Every time I'm playing conga, it has nothing to do with the gig, or it's me and my relationship with my conga. That's so like the moments where that relationship feels like symbiotic, like yo, I love this shit and it loves me, and I'm good at it, and I feel like not only proud of myself but happy, but almost like those moments of zen, of like yo, I'm doing, regardless of where this is or who I'm playing with, I'm doing what I'm supposed to be doing because Jesus, this feels like right. Like those moments is the moments I'm trying to zero in on. And also because another thing, like it's kind of weird to say, but my relationship with God and religion had always been tied to the feeling of that oneness that you get with like a religious experience, that you're like, yo, okay, I felt God's presence today. You know, I played in church growing up, and that's something we felt often. And it's something, because we were a family, we kind of got good at just feeling those moments and buying into the moment and being present and listening to each other and trusting each other. And we got very good at being a church band and kind of like encouraging the spirit and all those things. And that's one of those things that like always tied me to the religious aspect of spirituality. But once I started to be able to experience those things outside of that context and kind of tell myself, I'm not thinking about this in a religious, spiritual context, but I'm still feeling the same things. It kind of expanded my understanding of spirituality and was less kind of like a religious context, but more of the spirituality of experiencing something with other people, something else that ties us together, something else that really does bridge the non-physical gap, and that there's something there that's kind of been pulling at my heartstrings, and that I'm trying to understand more, and that those moments within music is those special moments is kind of what I'm looking for, and those moments that kind of keep me going. That's everything. I mean, I think I don't even have really a direction in life as far as like this is my goal or that's my. I'm really like head first into trying to understand what that is. There's a holiness to music that has nothing to do with what we call Jesus or Islam or whatever. There's a holiness to music and the harmony that we feel. That's something that's not spoken about. There's not really enough books written about it. And I'm not trying to write a book or put a movie together, but that's the direction I want my life to go in. I want to understand that better. And so I experience those things every once in a while, and like it's like every once in a while you see God, and it's like, oh shit, he's there. That's kind of the way I feel sometimes on stage. But as far as like a moment, I did Barclays like 5 years ago, something like that, with Combinación Perfecta the second time around.
Wow.
And that's like one of those things. I mean,
you want to pick up that name that you just dropped?
Like we all grew up watching that DVD, right? And so it's like I saw that more than anything, more than like
the energy there was wild.
The energy was crazy.
Yeah.
The energy was crazy. Also to be playing like, sorry LP, but to be playing like Bobby's drums, subbing for Bobby next to Mark, and
that's
like
awesome.
it was just like, oh shoot, in some way your childhood dreams, you made it. Like if you're subbing for Bobby in this context, doing the show you've been watching a million times as a kid, then like, okay, you're doing all right. You're in the right place at the right time. So,
Did you guys back up Willie Colon that year?
Yeah.
Because I saw that on like one of those Optimum channels that they were just playing live performance.
Really?
And I was in a restaurant. It was a Colombian restaurant, and they were playing that. I was like, oh look, it's Kilo. And it's Willie Colon playing Gitana, I think. It was so funny. And then I see you, and I'm like, what? I'm like, this. When was this?
That's
And I
crazy.
see Mark next to you, and
We
I'm
were
like,
there, bro.
no, I wasn't there that year. Not that year. I wasn't there because that was
No,
the
it
year
just
that
you.
It was just me.
Yeah.
It was just you.
I was not there that year. I was
Wasn't
away.
that the year that you took? It's okay.
You showed up like, I
How-
think maybe you showed
we-
up late, but you came like.
I came right on it and said, I
No,
was
no,
doing a gig.
I was.
Yeah.
I
I was
was.
playing with Jerry Rivera in the Bronx.
That's what
That's
it
right.
was, yeah.
And then
I
showed up,
wasn't there that year because that was the year that Bobby hurt his hand, and
Yeah.
I was away that year.
Mhm.
That was the first year. That was the first time I missed that show. That was
If the
interesting.
Lakers lose this game.
All right, what
that's
is-
a shock.
What is your experience? Your first.
Not my first, but one of the best. I was just thinking about all the shows that I've done in so many cities around the world with SA Show that I can't decide one because I just discovered in this conversation, me acabo de dar cuenta de esta conversación que muchas veces la experiencia viene por lo increíble de lo macro, o sea, de lo grande que es la tarima, lo grande que es el sonido y lo grande que es la audiencia. Hay 25,000 personas y es un éxtasis, pero también hay unas que es un sitio bien pequeño, cerrado y hay una vibra increíble. Yo me acuerdo que hubo una noche que estábamos tocando en Wallis, el guisito de los jueves, y entró Oscar Stagnaro, Luis Enrique, Robert Vilera, y ese sitio se llenó completo y metimos "Qué lástima, con Xiomara a mí me da".
Como 20 minutos.
Pero aquello se puso de madre porque no había... Esa noche el pianista era yo. And I was just putting my little chords. There was no tumba, but it was a vibe. And Merichel, amiga de nosotros que tampoco tocaba salsa, pero ella también estaba metiendo keyboard. Entonces era una vibra. Con Lázaro, Manuel Lara, muchachos Gabo.
Yo me acuerdo.
Y me acuerdo que eso fue... That was like intense because everybody came. The place was absolute... You couldn't fit another person.
That was 2011.
Yeah, that was like a crazy vibe. Además de eso, me acuerdo de... Yo toqué en África con la Spanish Harlem. Y para mí yo nunca he tenido una experiencia como esa. O sea, poder cantar, la reacción del público surafricano a la salsa. Era como... Estamos viniendo a la casa del trompo a tocar una música que viene fundamentalmente de aquí. Y el amor que recibimos y la recepción que recibimos de esa gente fue algo que yo... O sea, estábamos tocando y es que era un swing. Porque estamos en la madre. We're in the motherland, you know what I'm saying? So, it's like... Yeah, and they understand. They might even understand at a deeper level that Puerto Ricans or Cubans ever did. which is that they understood us at a... Es una experiencia de, tú sabes, cuando tú estás cantando and you feel that people can see you, they really hear the essence of the root of what you're doing. It's not like, tremendo swing. No, it's deeper than that. So to me, it was a very good experience to play in Africa. And yeah, that's it. I think that was a very special place. It was really hot. We were like guayabera sudando y uno cantando y no hay clase de swing. But so I really loved it. So one was in the Macro. That was a big festival, Creole Jazz Festival. And then you have the little one. So these are moments that I'll never forget, you know. A mí me parece interesantísimo que como músico, ¿verdad? Uno tiene Hay personas que tienen un montón de dinero en la cuenta, pero no tienen lo que nosotros tenemos. O sea, yo estaba hablando con un pana mío el otro día que fácilmente hace más de 6 figuras al año, probablemente 150. Y él me dijo, brother, yo no tengo pasión para nada. Yo trabajo en una oficina con números. Y cuando te miro a ti, ¿verdad? Cuando hablas de la música, hablas de estas experiencias, you go on fire, bro. I want that for something in my life. I have nothing in my life like that. Wow. So you're richer than I am. Yo nunca me olvidaré de eso, de que hay cosas que nosotros hemos pasado, si tú te pones a pensar como músico en la tarima, que yo no las cambiaría por todo el dinero del mundo.
You don't think that gives us the ability to love a bit more intensely and therefore puts that responsibility on us a bit? Like, I feel like sometimes people in his position, they can be maybe a little bit more inclined to be grumpy or soft words that we use to describe anger, right? So annoyed or anxious or has life too much. I think our job is to sometimes show those people how to balance out their lives, which is why we do these shows on stage and we invite them to watch us and we're like, look how fun it is when you lighten up, right? So I don't know. I think that's our job in some ways, to show them like passion for something besides
el balance.
What they understand.
Mi mamá siempre decía, o sea, en nuestra familia, mi hermano Joshua y yo éramos polos opuestos. Porque Joshua siempre era a realist. He's the epitome of a realist. And I was always, since a child, I was always the epitome of an idealist. So she used to say, both of you need to come back a little bit into the center. Because he was all about like the stats, the numbers, pay your taxes, you be a responsible human being.
Facts.
And then I grew up being like, yo, the world could be so much better. There's so many beautiful things out there. The old idealist, right? And that's just my personality. I can't change it. But you can adapt to become a little bit more of a realist, and then he could adapt to be a little more on the family side, more sentimental, more of an idealist, more poetic. Okay, my brother not poetic at all. You know, ¿de qué estás hablando? Sentimentalismo y cosas. And he trivializes by making jokes and stuff.
So la generación también.
Right.
Can I say something about that? I was recently learning that like we sometimes like talk about realism like if it was a fundamentally good or objective thing, but like all the good things in life is something that somebody had to point out to me are subjective. All the things about like deciding who to marry, you're never gonna have enough information. You're never gonna have data. You're never gonna have facts on that. We're gonna have facts on what the best car to buy is. We're gonna have facts on where to buy a house and things. Like facts are. This is something that I think, I don't want to misquote, but somebody important said that everything that you can say is a fact is the scene in life, and your life is the drama that happens between people that's subjective. So all those feelings things are actually the real parts of life. So, the little things between us that go unsaid, the ways that we encourage each other, and the ways that like something little we say to each other gives us strength tomorrow. Those are the real things. It's not the fact about I live at this address, own this car, and at this age. That means nothing as far as life goes.
Right.
So like the
small thing.
Sometimes we look at those things and give them importance. We give the objective an importance that is sometimes it doesn't deserve because we want to seem like adults. But the real juice in life is all the subjective things that you don't have facts on.
Some people call it the narrative world. So for example, you have the objective world and you have the narrative world. The other day I was seeing this interview with a pastor interviewing this philosopher psychologist, Jordan B. Peterson, who's become like world famous. He wrote 12 Rules for Life and now it's like #1 New York Times. He's probably the most hated person online and also the most loved at the same time. all I know is that he's brilliant in many ways, but they would talk about the history of Jesus. And he's never said that he's a Christian or even a believer, but he's been studying the Bible a lot, and he even teaching lessons on colleges from the perspective of the Bible, because he's a huge fan of like bettering yourself, and like he's a very, like, he says a lot of people out here want to fix the world and the government and community and can't even clean their own room.
Yeah, I've always thought the Bible was the greatest self-help book that everyone ignored.
Right.
It's
So they would talk about Jesus, and he said, well, he's supposed to be the perfect place in the middle between the narrative world, which is those moments that you're talking about, the subjective, the everything that we, and then the objective world, which is the one that people see as real, like, you know, pay your taxes, do your diligence, clean the community, be a good citizen, right? So there's both. And
that's
sometimes
how we
we
measure
think
each other's respectability.
Yeah, and you think that this one, the person that lives only here, is naive. Yeah, sometimes they can be, because you still gotta pay rent. Right?
Yeah.
But in this one, they feel, a lot of people feel that this one is the only real one. But there's so much happening that is not involving the narrative world, that is in the objective world. So he's the mixture between those. And when I heard that, when he said it, he started weeping. I've never seen Jordan. He said, and he started crying, and he says, I don't know if I believe that, because it's so terrifying of what could theoretically happen to a person if they fully believed that Christ was that perfect place between the, because it would transform you as a human being. You would become more loving. You would be like, I don't even know what to make of that. But not to make it too Christian-y, but I do agree with you in the sense that we do believe, as idealists, musicians and artists are usually very idealistic people. We picture a world that a lot of people say that doesn't exist. But why not, right? It can. If it exists in my mind, there is a possibility that it can exist somewhere, that we can make it happen, right? At least in my own little world or in my own family. Yeah, I don't see it in the world, but maybe my own family. Like, for example, you're about to have a kid, right? You know that there's a huge issue with fatherlessness, divorce, families, wars, Palestine, Israel, the whole thing. But you have your own little world. And why not think, yeah, it doesn't exist yet, or whatever, people may say whatever, but I can create a world
I have
of my
enough love inside of me to create a world
this thing.
where this person can
Right.
exist happily and comfortable.
And then by doing that, it creates a ripple effect onto the rest of the universe. Because if you do one thing right tonight, it will echo upon billions and trillions of elements all around your community. Like, if you, like, let's say something.
Love is what momentum, right? Love is action. You create those good actions. You being a good person is just connecting a few good acts.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know if people believe it or not. Like, if you ever had the opportunity to read or even see the film on The Secret.
Okay.
You ever heard of that book?
The Secret?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's like
Got
a super famous book.
Funny story about that book.
But they made us read that in a sociology class, and they made us watch the film too. And it was one of those things that think about it. We were teenagers, and it was like very, very silly to us. But then I was actually watching.
No, I saw it. It's good.
And I was like,
great.
whoa, hey, hold on. And then everyone else is just going about, their day in the class. And I'm just there like, wait, like just about the energy and how you begin your day can really affect for the rest of your day and how it's going to go. Yeah. Whether you wake up in a really, really bad mood. Yeah. And you go out there in a really bad mood and you try to change that throughout the day, it's not going to happen. Right. That energy that you already put out in the universe is going to stay there until you actually decide to change. I learned that many years after I watched that film, having my experience in Machu Picchu about just the observation of energy. And it was the weirdest moment, and I can clearly tell you exactly when and where that was and how it happened, where I said, I am no longer going to be that grumpy, really angry for no reason kid. There was no reason for that. Like I said,
I think the change happens when we start to see ourselves as little life-giving machines with this like engine inside of us that can create. We can heal ourselves. We can heal other people. We can make ourselves happy. We can make other people happy. And you can create your existence. It's one of those difficult concepts, but like we kind of, life makes us feel like life happens to us.
And then that I think, and then bringing that till today, going back and looking at all the shows in every country we visited for music and taking that for granted, not being able to enjoy the moment, just even the moment off. Like I was having this conversation with Edmar, for example, where they put us in the most beautiful hotel, but to be honest, we were there, but I wasn't really there. Like, bro, my mind was like, my mind was like, damn, I wish my family was here with me, enjoying this with me and seeing this. Right. That was one. Two, I was worried about what was actually happening here for work or whatever it was, you know. And three, I was just worried about social media, you know, to be honest, and I wasn't really enjoying that. Yeah, I should have been enjoying those little moments, enjoying those little, even just like the crazy trips that we took, and just going through the moments of like, hey, we're gonna change your flight last minute, and we're gonna give you 4 more flights just to get to one destination to do a 45-minute show. Yeah, and we complained, right? We complained, but then at the end of the day, we got to the destination. We did a beautiful job. We did a beautiful show, and then we're like, okay, we're going back home. Right. And I was like, it's over. Yeah. Now that we're actually locked up in our bedrooms during the pandemic, I look back and I was like, I'm extremely afraid to fly, but now I have an itch. I have that itch of missing that pathway to going into the airplane and smelling that, and then the nervousness, the nervousness of like, I've always dreamt of running out of the plane crying. Seriously, because I don't want to fly. But then the thing is, I sit down and I do this.
But here's the thing. Are you going to make the same mistake this time around? If you keep doing what you're doing, you're always going to get what you got. Meaning, like, if you continue to go to that hotel and not live the moment, then you haven't learned anything.
Exactly.
So there has to be a compound effect, meaning, let's say tomorrow you do something that is completely anti-natural to you. For example, you go to Starbucks and you say, hey, you know that person behind me? I'm paying for the coffee. Random act. And then just leave. Don't even wait for them to thank you. All of a sudden, that person just... And you won't even witness what just happened. But that person might say, that person just paid for my coffee? They don't even know me? All right, I'm going to go to McDonald's. Hey, listen, the person behind me on the service carro, I'm going to pay for the fries or for the burger or whatever. You know, it's just... We can't expect for the world to change if we're not willing to really use the compound effect, which is make small choices every day. Make a ridiculous choice. Make something that it goes outside of your agenda and watch what happens.
You gotta be careful who you're paying for coffee at Starbucks, bro. They're gonna look at you a weird guy.
Nah.
They're gonna be like, yo, he paid for it? Like, yo, what a weirdo.
Then let it happen. That's a conversation.
But then.
Oh, I'm a weirdo. What's your name?
Exactly.
I want a friend. Would you be my friend? All of a sudden, everything changes. Now you know a new person.
But then it stays in that person's head that a weirdo. And then they're gonna tell everybody like, "Yo, somebody just paid us." Yo, they're gonna like, think about it. No, not even. Like seriously, if you guys thought about it.
I thought you were making a joke.
No, not even. Like if you thought about it, like the person's gonna call 30 of their friends probably that day and said, "Yo, you know what just happened to me today?"
Nobody has 30 friends.
That's like, I would be grateful though.
I would love 30 friends.
You know what I'm saying.
Musicians have 30 friends, but I mean,
but not the ones that we're gonna call and be like, "Hey, somebody paid for my Starbucks today," you know. But you get to what I'm saying. Like it's gonna happen where. And then it'd be like, oh damn, what a weirdo. But then like, but maybe they did something. Maybe they saw something in you. You know, there's gonna be that one person that's gonna be like, but maybe something's happening in your life.
But you see, all right,
you're thinking the worst of people.
Yeah.
No, but that's the way humanity realistically works.
No, so if you take it like that, it will paralyze you from any kindness. And that's the thing, you have to. The only way to defeat this most corny cliche thing in the world, but the only way to take away darkness is light, bro. Like. If you can't expect anybody else to do it for you. The government certainly ain't gonna do it for you. Your church ain't gonna do it for you. Your daddy ain't gonna do it for you. You gotta do it yourself.
You have to believe that everyone is doing their best. I mean, they literally are doing their best, and people, for some reasons, they have more anger or more resentment or difficult situations, and it's harder for them to do good. But everyone is literally doing the best with the situation they have, and we always have to go into every situation assuming that, or this bus or this. We'll lose a wheel, and then it's not worth, and none of this is worth it if we're not trusting that everyone is trying their hardest, because then it becomes like I'm trying harder than you and you suck, and that's how most people live.
That's called virtue signaling. That means that I'm better than anybody because I'm more humanitarian than anybody is. But when's the last time we went to a hospital, visited random sick people that we don't know? When's the last time we went to Father's Heart on Saturday mornings and feed the homeless?
It's just even that conversation, it's just that line of thought, I think, has to be completely eliminated. It's always assumed, because they are, in their own way, that everyone is trying their hardest. I think that's one of those, like, if you can follow that rule, one of those golden rules, you follow that rule and you're fine. Everything else, don't lie, trust everyone, and assume that everyone's trying their best. And everything, the rest is cake.
Fact.
I hate that idea though of like the way that some like outsiders view it. Like what you just said right now. When was the last time we went to a hospital, or went to the last time we went to a homeless shelter or whatever to feed hungry people? Now everything I feel is viewed upon like, oh, he's doing that for clout. It's a bad view because it shouldn't be that way. Like for example.
But that's just the thing about negative views. That there's so much bullshit in a negative view. You can't try to understand it.
But exactly.
And also stop posting about it.
Exactly.
If you're kind, don't post it on Instagram. Don't post your kindness.
Man,
do
but
it
kind
randomly.
people don't give a shit who talks shit about them. Have you noticed that about really kind people?
Yeah,
They don't really give a fuck.
I agree.
They don't think about it.
I agree, definitely. For me also, the most generous people I know, bro, don't even have social media. Sure. Most kind people I know don't care who's looking. Matter of fact, most people that truly generous, that give what they don't have, they don't even want the person to know that it was them. They leave money.
Like really, really happy families are really in love. I mean, people kind of fall off social media when you really have a focus.
It gets to that point where you realize that I'm not doing this for the clout, and then you're like, let me just make this quiet, and if maybe I'll tell one or two of my friends, and then that's it. You know.
I think also the whole like worrying about haters and what like the bad juju and things like all of that is you're tripping over yourself. You can't worry about that.
That's culture.
I think the older you get, you worry less about it. You don't really care. Like it's gotten to the point. Like I don't remember when was the last time I checked who's viewing my stories, for example, on Instagram, and I really don't care. To be honest, I just post shit.
But you see, like how that could be viewed as, look at these people. They got my back. They're here to view whatever nonsense I put on my story. These people don't care. They're going to come check it out. These people love me. Or you can say, oh, look at these people in my business, or this person's probably talking junk, or this person's probably only here to view, what equipment we're using. This person just wants to see what plugins we use. We can easily think those things.
And I want them to ask me those questions.
Or just think about those people as your personal fan club.
Seriously, like I once posted that thing, like ask me a question, expecting people to ask me real questions, and no one did. And I was like, thanks.
Man. No. Also, the jokesters are so annoying, right?
Yeah.
But those are those.
And here's another thing. I once heard this, and it always stuck with me, which is, don't ever take advice from anybody that never built anything. All right? That's what I'm being... Nowadays, that's my motto for life. I gotta watch very carefully which input I'm allowing into my life. I'm not taking advice from anybody that never built anything.
And you can let them talk, and that doesn't mean you have to absorb it.
Absolutely,
because there's always something to learn, right?
Yeah,
right. Yeah, especially if you never built something.
There's something to also learn how not to think, or to see how easily this thought can lead to this. That's something I've learned a lot.
Yeah,
I let people talk in my ear, and I'll just be like, and if maybe something strikes me from your conversation, but if I'm really interested, you'll see me looking at you in the eye, because I'm really. And if you don't see me look at you, and you're still rambling, I'm listening, but I'm not really I'm gonna absorb just the key points.
And you start saying that's crazy.
The people.
I've learned. No, I'm looking for a new word, because that's crazy. It's getting there. Like people are trying to catch up to that.
You wild, yo.
But
like damn.
No, it sounds good, yeah.
Danny, any final remarks?
Closing statement with Daniel Torres.
Closing statement. Wow. I don't even know.
How's life in Florida?
What are you doing here?
What are you doing? I'm eating all your chocolate.
I'm trying to find the best in it. And what I've noticed that I can find the best in it is eating fresh local foods that are like grown there, like the
Carly told me she recommended a spot to you.
Yeah, the oranges
he was hyping
up, bro.
Like, you think the pregnancy life has gotten you to like try new foods in your life?
I think in general, this whole move of everything, I'm just like, what is it? I'm willing to try anything. Let's do it.
Nice.
Good.
Just because I feel like I'm at that point in my life. I think we were talking about it. You guys were talking about it earlier about like getting to that point where you're understanding yourself and your life better, what other people weigh as important as in money or job or whatever, and experiences. And understanding that if I look at myself in one of those columns, maybe having a kid and getting married all in the same year is kind of scary. But if I look at it as a whole and realize, wait a second, I have a good head, I have a good strong heart in my chest. Like I can handle this.
You're more prepared than a lot of people.
Yeah.
You are.
It's not always about buying the baby the most expensive car seat.
It's not. No, it's about knowing I'm gonna
Even
love
though
him.
really
He's gonna know he's loved.
Yo, can I spit some real stuff?
Yeah.
I didn't have a crib. He maybe had a crib after he didn't even need it. There was no car seats. There was no. I mean, I'm not saying they did it the best, but they did all right.
Well, our generation too was different.
I haven't been working for a year, but I don't know how this kid has a room, has everything he needs.
That's
There's
awesome.
nothing.
There you go. There you go.
Yeah,
There you go.
Happens, bro.
No, that kid's not gonna need anything.
No,
for sure, not gonna need nothing.
Yeah.
The most important thing is family from both sides, and it's
We're living on the description.
Yeah, really love it. If you wanna attend the virtual baby shower,
The GoFundMe will be
we're living the description for what's left. We're gonna need Pampers.
little guy.
Listen, we take
Torres,
Cash App, Venmo
Zelle,
at Danny Torres.
PayPal.
Oh, the full name. Release it right now. No, Gael Ari Torres.
there it is.
There you
That's
go.
what it says.
You heard it here first.
Gael Ari.
He's a star, bro.
Well, you're gonna put the what's the registry? Put the registry on.
Wait,
the
on the description.
The QR code.
There you go. Bueno, esto ha sido el último, bueno, no el último, pero el más reciente episodio. Y así cerramos. Felicidades a Dani. Este episodio puede ser llamado Momentos. Great moments in life, off and on the stage.
Yeah.
Hoy hablamos de nuestros momentos favoritos en la tarima como músicos, ingenieros. Y bueno, espero que hayan disfrutado todo esto. A veces estos episodios se van en una onda bien filosófica, pero me gusta mucho. Estas son conversaciones bien necesarias.
Que
Una
las
vez
tenemos
más.
con cámara y sin cámara. ¿no?
Sí, con
Como
cámara
ahora.
y a veces se apagan las cámaras en medio de...
That's the way we talk all the time. We're not faking it.
Sí, no, esto no se habla exacto, fuera de cámara también. We're probably going to turn off these cameras and just keep talking about it.
Yes.
So yeah, or we might just watch this game real quick.
That's
All right.
You
So,
guys just missed the puzzle.
Warriors
Yeah,
are
facts.
winning right now.
So, esto ha sido LTL Podcast, un podcast en Spanglish acerca de la música tropical y muchísimo más desde la perspectiva de músicos, compositores, ingenieros y ¿qué más? Productores. Con Javier Raez, Marcos López, Marcos Torres, alias Kilo, Danny Torres joining us today. Raul Bell, Agras over there somewhere.
She's always here.
What up, girl? Nos vemos la próxima.
Ciao.